So, what if I told you that your daily morning ab routine, the one you're grinding out to build that six-pack, might actually be setting you up for a nasty back injury? Yeah, it's one of the biggest debates in fitness, and today we are getting to the absolute bottom of it. Should you really be training your abs every single day?
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And hey, if you're confused, you are definitely not alone. The internet is just flooded with trainers and influencers all yelling different things, and it's created this huge debate. So let's cut through all that noise and find out what's really going on.
The whole controversy really boils down to two opposing teams. In one corner, you've got the Train 'em Daily crew. Their argument is pretty simple. Your abs are endurance muscles, they're working all day to keep you upright, so they can handle being trained a lot. But in the other corner, you have the give them a break camp. They argue, hey, abs are muscles just like your biceps, they need rest to repair and get stronger. So, who's right?
To figure this out, here's our game plan. We're going to unpack the debate, expose the hidden dangers of doing crunches first thing in the morning, and then I'll introduce you to your true core. From there, we'll dive into some smarter morning moves, bust that stubborn six-pack myth, and wrap it all up with a weekly plan you can actually stick to. Let's get started.
First up, the daily abs debate. We've seen the two sides, but the truth, well, it's not really black and white. It's actually way more nuanced than you might think.
So why is this so complicated? Well, it's because both sides kind of have a point. It's true. Your abs are mostly built for endurance. But, and this is a big but, any intense exercise still creates tiny tears in the muscle that need time to heal. Without that healing time, you're just asking for overtraining and painful injuries, especially if you're a beginner and your form isn't perfect. Even elite athletes who train their core daily are focusing on gentle activation, not total annihilation.
And that brings us to a huge piece of the puzzle, one that almost nobody talks about: the specific time of day you do your workout. It turns out your spine has a morning routine of its own, and you probably don't want to mess with it.
Get this, you can wake up a full centimeter taller than when you went to bed. I know, sounds wild, right? But what in the world does that have to do with your ab workout? Well, turns out, everything. The science behind this is called nocturnal disc imbibition. It's a fancy term, but here's what it means. While you sleep, the discs between your vertebrae basically soak up fluid like little sponges. This puffs them up, making them taller and putting them under way more pressure. This makes your spine extra vulnerable for the first hour or two after you wake up.
So here is the crucial takeaway. Doing crunches or sit-ups on these super hydrated, high-pressure discs is a recipe for potential injury. Like the experts say, your morning routine needs to be all about stability. That means holding your spine still, not a bunch of dynamic bending.
This is the perfect time to zoom out and redefine what we're even talking about. The goal shouldn't just be about chasing a six-pack. We need to start thinking about our entire core system. So let's meet the real team.
See, your core isn't just that muscle you see in the mirror. Think of it more like a 3D canister. Sure, you've got the rectus abdominis up front, that's the six-pack, and the obliques on the sides for twisting, but the real MVP for your spine's health is the transverse abdominis, or TA. It wraps around you horizontally, like a natural weightlifting belt, bracing your spine, and the whole thing is sealed by your diaphragm on top and your pelvic floor on the bottom. A truly strong core means this entire canister is firing on all cylinders.
Okay, so morning crunches are officially out. But that doesn't mean you have to skip core work entirely. The key is to shift your goal. We're going from annihilation to activation. So, what does a smart, safe morning routine actually look like?
The solution comes from a world-renowned expert in spine biomechanics, Dr. Stuart McGill. He developed a set of 3 exercises famously known as the McGill Big Three. These moves are specifically designed to build incredible core endurance and stability without putting all that dangerous stress on your spine. They are the gold standard for a very good reason.
First up is the McGill Curl Up. Now, I know what you're thinking. That looks like a mini crunch, but it is fundamentally different. By keeping one leg bent and putting your hands under your lower back, you're protecting the natural curve of your spine. You lift your head and shoulders as one solid unit, which lights up your abs without any of that dangerous bending.
Next up, the side bridge, or what most of us call a side plank. This move is absolutely fantastic for strengthening your obliques and all those other muscles that give you side-to-side stability. The key is to keep a perfectly straight line from your head to your knees, making sure your hips don't sag.
And the final move in this trio is the bird dog. It looks so deceptively simple, but trust me, it's a powerhouse. As you extend your opposite arm and leg, your core has to fire like crazy to stop you from twisting and to keep your torso perfectly still. This is how you build real functional core strength. All right, now that we know how to train our core the smart way, let's just go ahead and tackle the biggest myth of them all, the idea that doing endless ab exercises is the secret to revealing a six-pack.
We have to ask the question, because let's be honest, we've all been tempted to try it. Can doing hundreds of crunches, day in and day out, really burn off that layer of belly fat? The answer is a clear, simple, resounding no. Spot reduction is a total myth. You cannot pick and choose where your body burns fat from. Doing ab exercises will make your ab muscles stronger, sure, but it does absolutely nothing to burn the layer of fat that's covering them up.
So if crunches don't work, what does? Well, having visible abs is mainly a result of having low overall body fat. The formula for that is pretty straightforward. Nutrition is the undisputed king, making up about 70% of your results. Smart training gets you another 20%, and that final, crucial 10%? That's sleep and managing your stress. Seriously, high stress jacks up a hormone called cortisol, which can literally tell your body to store more fat around your middle.
Okay, we've debunked the myths, we've learned the right moves. Now, let's put it all together into a practical weekly plan that actually respects both activation and recovery.
So here's what a smarter weekly plan could look like. Notice you're working your core pretty much every day, but the intensity and the focus change a lot. You've got your low-intensity stability days with the McGill Big 3. Your high-intensity days, with things like reverse crunches, are better saved for later in the day. In between, you have days focused on deep core work and holding positions. And it all wraps up with active recovery. This is how you build a seriously strong core without burning out or getting hurt.
And that really brings us to our final thought. The chase for a six-pack can sometimes lead us down a path of doing things that are unsafe and just plain ineffective. But when we shift our focus to building a strong, stable, and resilient core, we're not just training for how we look. We're training for a life with less pain, better posture, and the strength to do all the things we love. So the real question is, what are you training for?